Promised, here is the Cliff Notes class to Creatine 101. We had this in the gym in person, and a lot of girls couldn't make it. So I love to research, I love to share, and I love the why behind clean eating and clean supplementing. So welcome to Creatine 101. I got all my notes with me. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. So is creatine new? No, it is not. It's actually something that our body naturally produces, which is pretty fantastic. And it is also found in the food that we eat. Creatine was actually found in the 1830s by a French scientist, and he found it in the skeletal muscle of animals. What's really interesting is that he actually realized in his studies that animals that were wild had more creatine in their muscle than animals that were held captive. So that could lead to show that the more active you are, right, the more creatine you're going to have. So we'll get into why we want it, what it does, all the things. So crea actually means meat, and it was named by the French scientist who discovered it in the 1930s. When did creatine become popular? It became popular in the 90s. There was an Olympic athlete who took gold, and he accredited his strength and winning and how well he did to supplementing with creatine. Because it was found so long ago and then became very popular, creatine is actually one of the most well-studied supplements on the market. There are over 1,000 peer-reviewed studies of creatine, making it one of the safest supplements to use. But you want to make sure you're taking the right type of creatine. So what does creatine actually do? I want you to think energy when you think creatine, not necessarily muscle like we all thought through the 90s. So every cell in our body needs energy to function. So think things like digestion, repair, being active, our heart even beating, and focus, right? We need energy. Every single cell needs it, right? That is fuel for your body. Energy is made in our cells. So let's take a little trip back to 7th grade science, right? And think of those cells. And do you remember the little green mitochondria inside that cell? And your teacher told you it is the powerhouse. That is what is actually converting food into energy, right? That is the power plant of the cell. And so what happens when we have low energy, right? Low cellular energy, then we're going to obviously feel more sluggish. We're going to feel like we have less energy. It's going to be harder to focus, and we're not going to feel as strong. So ATP is actually what it's called, that little powerhouse in the cell where we're converting food into that usable cellular energy. So when we think cellular energy, I want you to think sustained energy, not like drinking a cup of coffee where you just that quick burst. No, this is the energy that your body is trying to use throughout the entire day. So our body can recycle and actually recharge that energy. It's almost like a battery. It can go back through, be used again, and for then quick bursts of energy later, like when we get kind of sluggish or when we need to focus or when we get stressed, which is a pretty cool feature of what our body is capable of doing. So that ATP cellular energy also has to be activated, which is interesting, basically to tell our body to go ahead and use it. So put all those little nuggets to the side, and then we'll get into more details on that. So how do we get extra creatine? Creatine, like I said, is produced in the body. Our body produces about 1 gram of creatine per day. It's stored in places like skeletal muscle, in your brain, in your bones, but mostly in that skeletal muscle. But what external sources as clean eaters can we make sure to put in to bring more creatine in now that we know that it helps with cellular energy? So creatine is found in red meat, things like beef, pork, lamb. You're going to get about 0.5, so half of a gram of creatine in 4 ounces of beef. So let's eat our steaks, folks. Seafood, fish and shellfish, specifically salmon and tuna actually, are higher in creatine, and then poultry, chicken and turkey have a moderate amount. Again, the body produces its own creatine, but here's what's interesting. The body actually needs those branch chain, sorry, my phone keeps wanting to turn off, branch chain amino acids to produce creatine within our own bodies. So I want you to think about, right, like our whey Shaklee protein or our Shaklee plant protein or our Shaklee soy protein all has some of those branched chain amino acids, right? The building blocks for your body to go ahead and make its own creatine. All right, so let's get into supplementing with creatine, what it looks like, right? What kind do we want to use? When do we want to use it? How much do we use? What to consider, all of the things, what to expect, right? What are we looking for? So there are different types of creatine, like I said. So when we talk about what type of creatine we want to supplement, it is creatine monohydrate. So that type of creatine specifically is the 1,000 peer-reviewed studies was all done on that creatine monohydrate. So that's the one that is safest for us to supplement with. We want to make sure it is that type. Not all of them are made the same, right? So Shaklee just released creatine. They're always very slow to bring their products to the market. One, because they want to make sure it's safe, and two, they're going to make it better than everything that is out there. So creatine made by Shaklee. Shaklee's creatine is actually called triple activation cellular energy support, right? We talked about this being cellular energy, sustained energy. So what does triple mean, right? 3 different things are in this product, in creatine, that make it, next level, stand apart from everything else that is on that market. So yes, it does have the creatine monohydrate in there. It's micronized, which means that it is broken down so teeny tiny that it is easy for absorption and it is easy for digestion. 1 scoop is that 5 grams, the safe amount of creatine to take every single day. In that triple, right, that triple activation of cellular energy, it's generation, activation, and recharge. Those are kind of the full circle of what we're looking for in this specific blend that Shaklee made. So that monohydrate is the part that comes to recharging, right? Our cells have made the energy, it's been used, and now that creatine comes in, it recharges it so we can use it for that quick energy when we get tired, when we need to focus, when we get stressed, when we're working out, okay? The activation part of it is actually polyphenol blend. So Shaklee has a youth line. Think of Vivix, those anti-aging products. That polyphenol is the sustained energy portion of their creatine blend. So what those polyphenols do is amazing things, but in this case the focus is those polyphenols actually support mitochondria, which is those powerhouses in the cell. It is shown to actually make more powerhouses, more mitochondria in our cells, so our cells have the ability to produce more energy. More than 1 mitochondria can exist in your cells, which is pretty fantastic. The other thing that polyphenols do is they actually reduce inflammation. So when we want to talk about slowing down aging, aging is essentially a reaction of inflammation. The more our body is exposed to inflammation, the more inflammation rises in our body and drops back down, the quicker our cells are going to age from the inside to the outside, right? Our skin included. Is going to show basically a reflection of how much we're inflamed, how often we're inflamed, and those polyphenols help to slow down that inflammatory response. So of course we're not going to go just fill our day with McDonald's and all of the things, right? We want to eat clean, but we also want to put in things that are going to slow down that inflammation and slow down cellular aging. So those polyphenols are the generation piece of this circle. So we have the creatine monohydrate is the recharging, the polyphenol blends are the generation, right? And then we have the activation piece, like I had mentioned earlier. That ATP cellular energy actually has to be activated, telling our body, go ahead and use it. And that takes magnesium citrate, and Shaklee knows it. So that is the 3rd piece that is put into that triple action cellular blend for those 3 things. It has 100 milligrams of that magnesium in particular, so our body can actually use what we are ingesting. So pretty cool. Okay. What to expect when supplementing with not just any creatine, with Shaklee's creatine. So I started taking creatine back in the springtime. Before Shaklee released theirs, I took a creatine monohydrate made by Thorne, and that was the only ingredient in it. The first things that I noticed when supplementing with creatine was my mood. I just felt an improved mood and more stable across the board. I am now on my 2nd month of taking Shaklee's creatine blend, and my gosh, my energy has significantly improved. I'm up at 3:10 in the morning. I am at Legacy for 3 or 4 hours, then I go and do my own workout, then I come home and we homeschool, and then you're cooking dinner and kids are coming home and you've got the whole evening. And it was such a struggle to make it through that afternoon time. I'm a napper. I will always vote for taking a nap. I still take them, but I just have so much more energy than I did, and I'm so grateful for it. So here are the things to expect when taking Shaklee's creatine blend specifically. Sharper focus and mental clarity, steady all day energy, not just that first half of the day. You're going to feel different in the second half. Better stamina and performance, faster recovery between activities. 80% of their trial users report increased energy during those low times, like that afternoon crash. 78% reported increased focus and decreased brain fog, and 78% are able to work out harder longer. So here's what's interesting is we have associated creatine with muscles, but that's not actually what creatine does. Creatine does not build muscle. It actually just gives you the energy so that you can work out harder for longer. You can put that energy to use and go ahead and use it to build those muscles, okay? All right, so when to take it, how to mix it, all of the things. Creatine is best taken 30 minutes before or after your workout, or whenever you're most consistent at taking it. If right before or after your workout doesn't work for you, or you do not work out, just pick a time in your day that you're going to remember to take it. People ask, when is the best time to take my supplements? Well, I could tell you magnesium should be at night and your B's should be in the morning, but honestly, if you're going to forget to take them at those times, I'm going to tell you the best time to take your vitamins is when you're actually going to take them, right? So 30 minutes before or after your workout is preferable. Absolutely, go ahead and throw it in your shake. Super easy. I've got girls at the gym that are adding it in with their pre-workout, and that is totally okay. There is some research that says that you should not mix creatine with caffeine. That's really when we're talking about 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine. Our pre-workout only has, I have it written down here. Stand by. I don't know where I put it, girls. I think our pre-workout only has like 100 grams of, I skipped a whole page. Our pre-workout only has 100 grams of caffeine in it, and our energy chews only have like 120 grams, there we go, of caffeine in it. So it's totally okay for those to be paired together. Some special considerations you're going to see out on the website: loading phases of taking creatine. I don't think it's necessary. I would just do the 1 scoop a day, and I felt a difference within days. And then the more consistent you are with it, and over time, the more benefits you're going to feel from taking it. It will make you thirsty, especially in the beginning. So make sure you're a good water drinker. The reason that is happening is creatine is very attractive to water, and creatine goes into the cells. So as it moves into your cells, it's going to take water with it. And our water balance likes to be very happy inside our cells and outside of them. So as that water gets brought into the cells with creatine, your body's going to be triggered, right? Thinking I need more water. It's going to trigger that thirsty sensation to kind of balance out water in and out of the cells. So just be intentional, drink water. Your body's going to tell you to do it. If you have moderate to severe kidney disease, it is not recommended without your doctors saying so to take creatine. Creatine can increase your creatinine levels. Essentially what creatinine is the breakdown of creatine. So just be mindful of that. Consider that if somebody in your life has moderate to severe kidney disease. Shaklee's pricing on this creatine blend is fantastic, especially considering it has the Vivix in it for anti-aging and such a clean creatine. It is $33 member price for a 28-day serving. You're going to take 1 scoop every single day. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments below and let me know. I'm more than happy with it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.